Here we are, folks, again. I'm going to give you a little list. If you get your pen, a pad, and sit down and write these down as I give them to you. And then you can always pause if I get ahead of you or if you get behind me. But a psalm of a godly man is Psalm 1. And Psalm 1 is the psalm written of a godly man. Psalm number 2 is creation, Psalm of creation. That's Psalm 8 and Psalm 104. And the Good Shepherd Psalm is 22. That is the Good Shepherd. The Great Shepherd Psalm is 23. And the Chief Shepherd Psalm is 24. The Unity Psalm, Psalm of Unity, is 133. And then we have 5 psalms that are Psalms of Jerusalem. And those psalms are 48, 122, 126, and 137. And those are Psalms of Jerusalem. And then we have the family psalms. Those are 127 and 128 on the family. And then we have the security psalm. That's 121. If you need security, that's a psalm to go to get you some security. And the psalm of the only true God is 115. That's number 10. And number 11 is the Psalm of Exodus, 114. That is an exiling psalm. And then we have the Psalm of Refuge, number 12, and that's Psalm 46. There's refuge in God. That's where refuge is. And the 13th one is the Ladder of Faith, Psalm 37. And faith is like a ladder. You come in by faith, and then you walk up the rungs of the ladder by faith. Each rung is supposed to make you stronger and stronger. Number 14. The Psalm of Supreme Praise. There's 3 of those. There's Psalm 103, 148, and 150. Number 15. The Psalm of Old Age. That's Psalm 71. That's my psalm. God will bless the old man too. Number 16, the 100th Psalm is number 100. And that's a psalm of praise. Verse 17, number 17, the Psalm of Death. That's 90. In death, in God, is new life. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Number 18, the Psalm of Life, 91. My life started at the age of 30. I had lived a heathen life up until 30. At 30, I had a life got started. And the 19th one is the Deliverance Psalm, 31 and 116. Those are psalms, those 2 psalms are psalms of deliverance. Number 20, the House of God Psalm, number 84. Number 22, the Word of God Psalm, 19 and 119. That's a little bit of a conundrum, isn't it? That 19 is the number. 23, the Voice of God Psalm, 29. Actually, the voice of God is the whole Bible, but this particular psalm brings it out a little more. Number 24, the Mercy of God Psalm, 136. Number 25, the Goodness of God Psalm, 27 and 107. There's another double number psalm. And 25 is the Goodness of God Psalm, 27, 107. Number 26, the omniscience and omnipresence of God, Psalm 139. He is omniscient and he is omnipresent. We're going to come back to that one in a couple of minutes when we get this out right here. We get these Psalms down, this list down, then we're going to come back. And we had 31 in this list. Number 27 is the omnipresence of God. Psalm 147. And then we have in the number 28 is the Psalm of the Davidic covenant. David had a covenant. The Davidic covenant is the covenant that Jesus is going to use in the 1,000-year reign. And that 1,000-year reign is this covenant is going to be brought forth. And then we have the number 29, the history of Israel's psalm. There's 78, number 105, and number 106. And then we have 30, number 30, the Psalm of the Way, 42 and 73. And the way is Jesus Christ. And then number 31 is the Psalm of Deep Despair, 69 and 88. Where does deep despair come from? It comes from not having the correct fellowship that you're supposed to have with God. You get away from the Lord, and you will have a break in your fellowship. We're going to Psalm 139. I said we were going to come back to that. That is the omniscience of God, 139. The omnipresence of God, the almighty God, the God of everything. Lord, thou hast searched me and know me. When God searches you and knows you, what does he find? If you were sit down and write a list of your conscience right now, would it be one that God wouldn't mind searching? Would it be one that God wouldn't mind looking into? Would it be one that God would say, well done, my faithful servant? Or what would it be? Verse 2, thou knowest my down sitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thoughts afar off. Boy, thou compassest my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. You know what that's saying? That's saying God's present. He is present with, he is there now. Would you do anything that would embarrass God? One of the most embarrassing things I ever did after I saved was smoke. It was the most embarrassing thing. I nearly fainted when I lit one because I was embarrassed before God. Because God had said, hey, I'm there. I'm in you now. I'm with you. I don't want that smoke in me. I came to dwell in you, and you're trying to kill me? You're trying to stifle me? For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Every single time you open your mouth, God knows it. The Bible said you're going to be judged by every word that comes out of your mouth. If it be good, you're going to get reward. If it be evil, you're going to lose reward. There perhaps will be many people in heaven who their reward is upside down. They have none. They have, like I said, they've got one crown, the crown of righteousness God gave you. That's all you got. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Whew-wee. The hand of God on you? The life of God in you? And you gonna act like the devil? Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain unto it. Wow. Wow. This was one of David's psalms. And he's one of the guys that says, woe is me. Woe is me. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? There's nowhere. You cannot get out of the presence of God, especially if you're his child. A father is not going to let a little child out of his presence. Especially in this day. If I ascend up unto the heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost part of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. David's kind of giving a little thing here, a little saying here, that there is forlornness in separation. If you get separated from God, you'll be in the deepest part of the sea. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. 139, 9 and 10. No matter where you are, physically, spiritually, or mentally, God's hand is going to be holding you. If I say, surely the darkness shall come over me, even the night shall be light about me. Hey, did you know there's no darkness in God? There is no shadow of turning. That means you can take anything. You can take a three-sided thing and shine a light on it and keep turning it, and there's no shadow. There's no shadow in God. The light of God comes over and down on something all the way around it. So there's no shadow. I actually have a light over me right now that gives me a light that doesn't cast a shadow. You see no shadow on my hand? Well, I see a little right there, but there's no real shadow. If this light was more over me, there wouldn't be a shadow at all. I've got it kind of on the side. So, the God is a light that's not a shadow. If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, thou art there. God is everywhere. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. To God, there is no darkness. In him, there is no darkness. There is no night for God. Every 24 hours is all day for God. There's no night in him. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me with my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in the secret, and the curiously wrought in the lowest part of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned when as yet there were none of them. I'm reading and thinking. And I'm thinking between the words. That God said He knew us before we were born. This is why, I don't know if this is a good place to use this word right here. Fleshly, I'm going to say this for the sake that there may be children. Fleshly, permissive sin is known of God. That which comes from a man that makes a man, or from a woman that makes a person, is a sacred thing that God made, and God's aware of every single seed or from the man. He's aware of that. This is why it's so heinous today, in the world we live in today, that we have those that are doing opposite of what God said to do with our substance. And God knows all about it. And all the creations that could be properly formed from these substances are being desecrated. And all of them are written in the history of God. See, God knows man before he comes here. He knows every man that a man could leave behind. He knows every woman a man could leave behind, or a woman could leave behind. He knows all of that. If he knows all the molecules of the earth, every one of them, if he knows all the atoms, if he knows all of the birds, and he cares for them, he said, he feeds them every day. Over 100 train car loads of seed a day would absolutely not feed the birds of this earth in one day. All the birds of this earth eat more than 100 train car loads of food a day, and God feeds them. You say, well, I feed a few in my backyard. Well, good. I feed a few in mine too. But that's a piddling little thing compared to feeding all the birds one day. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For thy sake, against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And if there be any wickedness in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. That is a challenge to God that I don't think very many men would do. To say, try me, Lord. Wow. I would be found faulted. I would dare not to pray that prayer myself. Even though I know I'm daily in being tried. I would pray that God would find no wicked way in me, but I know there is. I don't believe there's a man walked on this earth that could fleshly say that he was perfect in God. And the closest one that I know is the one that God reveres, which is David. And in the flesh, David had many failures. But God said at the end, through David's life, his heart never left him. Just think, this man who sinned in his older life was a man that had such power with God that he walked up and slew Goliath as a young lad, probably anywhere between 14 and 19 years old. I don't believe he was 20 yet. And slew Goliath with a stone by the hand of God. Wow. And he says, God, try me. Try me. Wow. I wouldn't ask that. I would hope God is trying me, but I would not tempt him to go further than I am able to live. And I'm not able to live above what I'm able to live, because I'm me, and I'll be me when I die. And if I try to live super spiritually or above what I am, then I would be falsely living. I'm going to be me. I'll be me when I die. I'm a man with flaws. I'll have flaws when I die. But am I trying my best to be in a place where I'm saying, God, search me and know me, know my heart, try me, Lord, and know my thoughts? I would pray that I could say that. My desire in my life is to serve God with all my being, because he is my God. He is my King. He is my priest. And on top of that, he's my judge. He's the mighty warrior that fights for me on a daily basis to keep me from falling off the cliff. So let's us, as Christians, follow him to the best of our ability. Well, I'm going to cut her right there, because if I talk anymore, I'll be talking foolishly. So here we are at the end. We'll see you next time.